Hi everyone, I'm the plant propagator and welcome to my channel. Today I'm in the laboratory, I'm in the hood. You can probably tell from the sound. And I just have a little something I want to share with you today. A couple of videos ago I talked about albinism, variegation, chloroplasts and plastid, things along these lines. And I wanted to do a follow-up. First thing is, I forgot to include one little piece of information, and that is that in most plants, including orchids, chloroplasts, the genetics of the chloroplasts, are inherited from the seed parent. So that's something that for some reason I left out. It's not that important, but it kind of is important a little bit depending on which way the cross goes. Okay, so let's move that aside. One of the other things I wanted to share with you is a follow-up. And in the last video, I reported to you some albino orchid seedlings that I had seen in some of my seedlings of Guarianthe skinneri. And as a follow-up, I was looking at those plants. Usually when I come in the laboratory, I spend a little bit of time first thing looking at all the plants, everything, and try to kind of get an overview. I write down things that need to be done, and I do this, and it's a good idea so that I have a fresh idea of what I need to do on a certain day. And so I was looking through some of the plates, and I saw the albino seedlings that I showed you last time. And then I also looked at some of the other seedlings from that same self or cross that had been transferred onto a medium screen, and I saw, as you might imagine, I saw yet another albino in there. I then went back to the original plates that contained the plated seeds, and these were done, they were done, I guess it's about 6 months ago. Yeah, actually 6 months ago these original seeds were plated, and I have two of the original dishes here. And as it turns out, I did 6 different seed capsules that came from that plant, and there were albinos only from one of those capsules, and these are the 2 original plates that I have from that one seed capsule. And then I looked at these seedlings in this plate, and lo and behold, guess what? A lot more albinos. And well, okay, what are you going to do with these things? And I don't know. And I had some interesting comments. Some of you wanted me to just keep on maintaining these plants and have albino seedlings growing in large flasks, in the laboratory, and I can certainly do that. Clone them, sell them as something unique, which they certainly are. And I found a lot more albinos that are in here. I don't know why this seed capsule, as opposed to all the other ones, gave albinos. It's interesting. I don't think I can repeat that. What it kind of makes me realize, and I do this over and over again, I was in the laboratory as I was an academic scientist for 35 years. And the more time that I spent in the laboratory, the more that I realized I didn't, you don't really know what's going on with a lot of this stuff. You're doing things that are new and unique, and you're doing things that no one else has done, and you have to try to explain them. And I don't know what's going on here. I can't explain this, other than there was some in that one seed capsule. There was either a mutation that was on, the pollinia, or the egg cells that were in there, or something. And I think because there's so many different seedlings that are albino there, it was probably a recessive mutation that really is displayed pretty predominantly in it. But it wasn't in all the capsules, which means that it gets complicated. As the plant's growing, it kind of collects different mutations depending on where those flowers are coming from. So I'm trying to explain it. I don't know what's going on. I'm confused. It's a constant state for me as far as trying to figure this out. But, all right, let me get to the other point here. So the point is, in looking at these plates, you can see clearly green seedlings in here. You can see clearly albino seedlings. And then you can see stuff that's interesting, which is kind of maybe some yellowish seedlings that are in there. And those are interesting, number one, if they continue, if they make, these are old plates, so it might just be yellowing of some older seedlings in there, but it also could be a variation of this mutation that we're seeing that's giving the albino plant. So there could be yellow orchids that are in here. It could be that there's still a mix of cells, that there are white cells and green cells that are in there, and it's giving kind of a lightish greenish or yellowish color. I don't know, but I'm going to try to rescue some of these. What happens with me a lot is, again, I go down these rabbit holes. I do these things, and I don't know where I'm going, and I just jumped in. I tend, and maybe this is a problem, I tend not to think too much about how I should be doing things. I just kind of jump in and do things. It's how I've always worked, and it's always worked well for me. But what happens is you can get going with so many different projects that it just is overwhelming. When I was on the faculty, when I was a professor, I would have undergraduates, graduate students, postdoc techs, where I would say, here, do this, do this, do this. Here, I'm retired. I'm the only one in the laboratory. It's just me. So I've got a lot of these different things going on, and it's just me doing these things. So I have to maybe be a little bit more selective in what I do. But this looks a little interesting. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time today trying to pull out these. I guess I'll pull out the white ones, even though they're not gonna survive. But I'll focus in on maybe the yellow ones, see if I can pull any of those out, see if they stay yellow, see if they sort out, whether I get other striping or variegation in this cattleya, just to see where it goes. Okay, so that's all I had for you today. Just kind of an update of this characteristic, this trait, which I think is a little bit unusual. And that I really haven't seen before at this level. Again, lots of albinos in here. If you like what you saw today and you want to keep on seeing my videos, it would help me out if you can click on like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. If you have comments on what I'm seeing and an explanation for what I'm seeing, I'd love to hear about it. So just post those, and we'll take a look and we'll see what happens. I'll try to keep you updated of where this goes. As with most of the projects in the laboratory, I'm happy to share progress and results and talk about unusual things. All right, that's all I have for today. Happy propagating.